Hey guys, former WWE Superstar Hornswoggle here, and you are watching TheMan Games. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, follow this channel, like this video, and let us know in the comments below. See, this is why WWE didn't let me talk. I'm not very good at it. But let us know in the comments below if you're loving all of this great content and what you want to see next. Take care.
Hello and welcome to the Man Games. This is our podcast show. It's the Man
and the Wife
Podcast. So today we thought we'd do a bit of a different episode, seeing as like recently we've just been doing pay-per-view reviews, really. So we thought we'd do our top 10 all-time favourite wrestlers. So I started watching wrestling in like the late 90s, probably started watching wrestling like full-time, probably 99.
Okay.
Whereas you've only just started
2011. Well, no,
earliest.
I would say 2012 actually.
Yeah.
Is when I really started watching it.
It was probably like 2013 when you actually started liking it.
Yeah.
But it's like when you first started watching it, you'd like maybe like one segment out of 10, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas like now you probably maybe like 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like you appreciate wrestling a lot more than you used to.
I do. I remember like I don't know if I told the story in the podcast, but I'm gonna say it again anyway. But when we first started dating, he turned up to my house with a television, a DVD player, and wrestling DVDs. And I was like, oh, this is happening then?
What? And she did not have a TV in her bedroom, though.
We don't need a TV in the bedroom.
No, I was like killing a bird with two stones. No, that's the wrong saying, isn't it?
Anyway, that's when I realised your affinity for wrestling. But then you were telling me a story the other day when we were out, and we were watching. What did we watch?
Oh, so I was watching WrestleMania 26 on DVD. One more, like I got before she had, and I was sat watching it in the sitting room, and because my sister was there as well, so I think she must have like dropped the kids off from school and popped round or something.
Right. Okay.
And I was watching Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker there, like Shawn Michaels' retirement match at the time, before he came back and did one more match for no reason. Slight dig there. Yeah, so I'm watching this match, and then you were like, I think you were maybe eating breakfast or something, you went, and then obviously Undertaker wins, and you goes, oh, thank God that's over. Then I go and turn the DVD off. And you're like, it was a DVD!
I don't remember that, but it does sound like something I'd say. Being shocked that we were watching something that's like... People don't watch football games back, do they? Do the people watch football games back?
I think they do. Your dad's watched football games back when I've been there.
Oh, okay.
They're like a DVD of Bulldogs and something playing.
Okay.
I think that was the first time I went to Australia.
Right.
As well.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I think watching wrestling back's a bit different because there's like obviously storytelling and things like that.
To be fair to you, you did wean me in very nicely because I mean the DVDs that you bought were like Raw's top 50 moments or whatever. So you weren't watching matches, were like watching the top 50 moments, which made sense to me because like you know, I don't know, like that I would I'd watch something like that and I'd enjoy it more. And then I realised that there will be a lot more DVDs to watch, and then we end up getting a network.
Yeah. So I think we just rambled and we've not actually said what this podcast is about.
Yeah, we have. We've said it's about our top 10.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Blah blah. Get that then. So obviously, like I said, I've been a wrestling fan since like late 90s. So my top 10 probably changed a lot over the years. So when I was like obviously like 9 or 10, my top 3 favourite wrestlers were Sting, Goldberg, and Rey Mysterio, and like 2 of them was not even made like my top 10. So people that didn't make my top 10 that have been on my top 10 at some point,
right?
Obviously, Rey Mysterio and Bill Goldberg. As much as I like them both, they're just not like stuck with me for as much as other people have. I suppose like Goldberg, obviously he left wrestling for quite a long time, so he's kind of like phased out of memory in some ways. And Rey's been a bit, he's been like a bit injury prone, so he's been in and out a bit, like gone away, come back and things as well. So I think that's maybe why.
Do you think had like Ray retired earlier, like I know he's not retired now, I get that, but like if he retired earlier, like at a good point in his career, maybe he'd stay on the list. But do you think because he's been like, I mean, how old's Ray and he's still wrestling like?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, is it like a bit like a Ric Flair? Like, come on, mate.
No, I don't, because I do really like Ray. There's just, so I don't even want to say there's better people in him because, like, obviously he's the best small person. I just don't know. Why is that funny?
So we went small person.
No, like he's the best like lightweight, cruiserweight, whatever you want to call it. Probably that there ever has been. But I don't know. There's just something that like I don't know. Maybe it's like growing up or something. But there's like the connection that I had once with Ray, like just not there anymore. Maybe. Yeah.
Other people have more connections. They just push them off the list.
Is that meant to be like a Jericho joke or something?
Because he says you've just made the list, not you pushed me off the list.
I was more meaning like that doesn't matter. Jeff Hardy was probably in my top 5 for so long, until he started, doing things he shouldn't be doing, drinking, drugs, and stuff like that. And I don't know. I kind of feel like don't know where that came from. Lost the respect I kind of had for him a little bit, and I think as well his character's not changed enough for me. Since he came back to WWE, he's kind of just since the Hardy Boys stopped being a group and he went off on his own again. Yeah. I just feel like he's just been the same, and they've watered him down. Like he was the first person eliminated in this year's Royal Rumble, and he's a former 3-time world champion in WWE. Probably I think he might have been a 2-time champion in Impact Wrestling. And he just doesn't mean anything. I don't know.
He's someone else that probably needs to retire, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll just change his character. I don't even like the face paint anymore, to be honest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just think he just needs to change.
We were talking about because he was supposed to be for Love of Wrestling, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he still is actually meant to be going.
Oh really? I think it's been rescheduled again.
Oh, has it?
I think so, yeah.
All right, okay.
I think I was supposed to say that earlier on.
Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, and you'd even said that when you saw him as somebody on the card, you're like, well, I might buy a ticket on the day, but I'm not going to buy one in advance, and that shocked me because I thought, oh, you definitely want to go for that, but you were,
yeah,
sad.
Someone else that used to be a massive fan of as well was Dolph Ziggler.
Oh really?
Yeah. At one point, one of my dream matches was him and Chris Jericho to have a ladder match for the world title. I think that was around, maybe WrestleMania 29 part when Dolph had the Money in the Bank briefcase.
What year was that?
Time. 2014,
13.
No, I think you're right, 13. Yeah. Yes. I just really like Ziggler, but same again. His character's just not changed. He's just the same. I think if he left and went to New Japan or somewhere else, I think he could really reinvent himself and make himself a lot better than he is. But I think he's got it just too easy in WWE, and that's why he's still there. And the last person who is no longer on the list is Chris Benoit. Obviously, don't really need to explain why he's no longer on the list. If it came down to wrestling, just if you could just think about obviously talent and things like that. You definitely would be on the list, but you just can't
you can't ignore
the fact that what happened. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I was a fan, but I truly believe that he had something mentally wrong with him. That's why he did the things he did. But obviously we'll never know. So you can't really claim anything.
No, you can't. Obviously it was such a tragedy, and you're probably right. There probably was something, but
when they scanned his brain, he had the brain of a 93-year-old. Living from all them headbutts and dives and.
I know. Now every time I watch his matches, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Every time there's a flying headbutt.
We watched one match, didn't we? It was an OW. Yeah, it was a WCW match, and we counted every time he banged his head, and I think we stopped counting at 14 or something, didn't we?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Is that everyone on your list?
Yeah, so that's everyone that used to be on my obviously off the top of my head. I
think you missed somebody.
Oh yeah, I did actually. Yeah, Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash also used to be in my top 5 as
well.
Oh,
I knew that. I remember that.
You can see my notes.
Yeah, I know that, but I can't believe that you didn't see Nash and think.
He's just got off my mind, hasn't he? So the reason why Nash is no longer in my top, he used to be in my top 5, but now he's not even in the top 10. Just because when I met him, he just wasn't very, very friendly, and
it's a bit harsh, really, isn't it?
What?
Poor lad's met 100 people that day, and he
we were one of the first people there.
That's very true.
He just wasn't very friendly, not very chatty. It was very awkward as well. So
yeah, it was. I would agree, especially after we had such a good meeting with other people.
Yeah, and just other things. I'm going to sound like contradict myself later on in the list. Just like things here about him stirring the pot and things like that, and people no one wanting to work with him at certain times and stuff like that. It kind of made me lose a bit of respect for him in some ways. Not totally, because obviously it's a different time back then. You have to get by and do things.
Yeah.
So there's like I can't think of the word. Okay, we'll just forget about it then.
Okay, that was a great conversation.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. My turn?
Yeah, so people that once were in your top 10 that maybe aren't anymore.
Mine isn't like that, really.
Okay.
So I feel like, because obviously I've been watching wrestling a lot, like a short amount of time, I don't really say... There's not really a lot of people that, like, I think, oh, you would be in my top 10, but you're not anymore. It's more, like... people that I consider, but maybe I didn't put them in, if that makes sense.
So yours is more people that could have made your top 10.
Could have made my... Exactly, because I don't think I've ever sat and actually thought about my top 10 favourite people like you do.
Well, this is the first time I've done it in a long time.
What, a year?
About 6 days.
So, I really like Alistair Black, and I really love doing NXT and everything he was doing there, but then I feel like he just got to the main roster and it's just... I don't even know what he's doing. What is he doing?
I don't know what he's doing. He's
No,
not being... He had that feud with Kevin Owens where he had the eye patch on. And
That was it.
apparently Vince McMahon's... this is just word on the internet. He doesn't see anything in him.
Okay. So, so Alex, as I said, Alistair Black in NXT would have made my list, but unfortunately he's just not carried on enough to be able to, if he was doing what he was doing...
Well, we were meant to see him at TakeOver, weren't we? We went to TakeOver, but he got injured just before.
Yeah, I was devastated.
Yeah, you were.
Good.
You were more good than I was.
I was. And so, if he carried on his character up in the... Which I'm not saying it's his fault, sorry. But if his character had been, used and continued in the main roster, I definitely think we would have made the top 10, but unfortunately, I just kind of forget about him now. Next is Carmella. I really like Carmella. Just don't know if she's top 10 worthy. Not yet.
Yeah.
I liked her when she was the Princess of Staten Island, and I've got a cap and all that jazz, but...
Now, I've always really been a massive fan of Carmella. I think sometimes she gets a bad rap as well. People are saying that she can't wrestle when she can.
Yeah.
I think some people might see it as a diva in a woman's era now.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, I think just because she might look like a diva doesn't mean to say she's a diva.
She's still a bad... And then I'm not going to say a swear word because I will run out of money, but you know what I mean? A bad ASS.
Yeah? No, you can say badass.
Okay, she's still a badass. Well, I don't know how where your line is when you're swearing, so...
Yeah, well, I forgot the swear jar again, didn't I? Well, not that you have any money on you ever anyway to put any in, so that makes no difference.
Anyway, so yeah, I still think she could be a badass, so...
The only time I would say, Carmella's kind of, dropped off the radar with me is maybe when she was just a bit doing the dance breaks and stuff with R-Truth. No, just because, I feel like she wasn't getting utilised in the right way, and she dyed her hair a different colour as well.
Oh, the purple hair.
Yeah, which I wasn't really into. Whereas, when she was the Princess of Staten Island, I felt like she had a proper character. Now with this untouchable Carmella, she's got proper character.
Yeah, I like her.
Whereas before, when she was doing that, she was just kind of a bit of a joke and a bit just there, really.
Yeah. But then at least, the way I see it is that, maybe this is, the wrong way to look at things, but you can't, it's very rare that somebody's always going to be a top star and always going to have a really, really good storyline. So at least she still had TV time. And that's probably the way I'd see it.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's the wrong way to look at it, but there's not... Well, there is a few, obviously, but, not a lot of people are constantly got a good storyline, are constantly featured,
Yeah.
Always have TV time, but especially women... so at least you're getting TV time in some respects. You don't forget about it. You still remember
even
that thing.
Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion, she didn't always get TV time.
That's it. So I think still in that respect it's good. Bianca Bella, I really like Bianca Bella. I predicted that she was going to win the Royal Rumble, and I was correct. But I just don't think she's been around long enough for me to put her on the top 10. So they definitely think she's got top 10 potential, depending on where she goes. Probably sounds really... I'm going to say some people on my actual top 10, you're like, ooh, not long enough. But anyway...
Oh, darling, it's your top 10. No one can take that away from you. Thanks. It's your opinion. Just because there are top 10s doesn't mean to say...
Yeah, I know.
They have to be anyone else's.
I know.
But
I might just sound a little bit hypocritical.
Oh, yeah, but this podcast is just giving our opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah, really like Bianca Bella. Excited to see what, where she goes. So, Hopefully one day we'll do this again and it might be on the list.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a whole new top 10 list. Toni Storm as well.
Yeah.
Once again, she sort of falls in the same category as Bianca Belair.
No, I really like Toni Storm as well.
And she was very close to coming on the list, but just didn't make it. And then lastly, it's Ricochet. And he's the same as Alistair Black. Like, absolutely loved him in NXT.
Yeah, we were there when he won the North American Championship.
Yeah, we were.
That kick in, like when he does the moon, was it a moonsault thing he was doing, and Adam Cole kicks him in the face?
Oh,
that might be like the best thing I've ever seen at wrestling.
That was
just
insane.
like the time and everything was just so perfect.
Can you remember we listened to a podcast on the way home on the plane? And it was just, it still gives me chills.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he's in the same boat as Alistair Black, unfortunately, because I don't even know what he's doing now.
Well, he did have a match with AJ Styles this week, which obviously he lost. He was in that 34-way match at Elimination Chamber to see who would get an IC title shot.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, he's not really done a lot. He was kind of in a storyline with Retribution where Ali wanted him to join Retribution, but he wouldn't.
Yeah.
That Retribution storyline is just
rubbish.
Yeah, that's putting it nicely. Like, if you had sworn then, like, I wouldn't have even, like, paid you out for it.
I'm not swearing anymore. I'm telling you, I'm not swearing anymore.
Right, so we're going to go into our actual top 10 now of all-time favourite wrestlers. If you guys have, your favourite 10 or 5, or even 3, you let us know what you think in the comments. We like to see what other people think. Like, obviously, I've been through, like, a lot of different, like, eras of wrestling, so mine are like mixed over, like, the last, like, 30 years, really.
Yeah.
Whereas probably yours are going to be more like the last 5 years, really.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm just looking at my thing. Yeah. More, 5 to maybe 8 years at a stretch.
Yeah.
Am I going first or are you going first?
No, ladies first. You go first.
So, I'm going to go with Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
As my number 10. I just really liked them. I love the Bella twins. And then I feel like, obviously, wasn't Brie injured a lot or something? I don't know.
I know it was Nikki that was injured a little bit. She had a
knee problem.
From a soccer injury.
Yeah. So, but I just feel like Nikki just sort of took over a little bit. Like, I think Brie got a little bit left behind.
Oh, I think, like, originally you kind of thought Brie was the better wrestler, but then Nikki just totally, like, overtook her in the end.
And I just always liked her character and sort of like her determination. And
I think she's the same like Carmella. She's very underrated.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
and she gets a bad rap for going out with Cena when that's just not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah. So, although I really didn't like the proposal at
No.
That was the worst thing in the world. But
especially
anyway.
when they didn't even get married and they broke up, and now
awkward.
They were different people, and he's engaged to someone else now. I think anyway.
Well, they're both engaged, aren't they?
I think I'm saying I think he's engaged.
No, he's engaged. Yeah. So yeah, Nikki Bella would be on my top 10. She just. Like, I think her evolution as well, like, when you watch her, like, because I can remember
it's someone, like, you can, like, see grow as a character. Because, obviously, that first WrestleMania it was the second WrestleMania that you saw, like, her match got bumped off the show, didn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So, and I think, to be honest, probably Total Divas and all that have helped.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, Anna Jay on AEW, she says the Bella Twins are one of the reasons why she got into the business.
Yeah.
And, like, I think sometimes when she says it, she's worried she's going to get a bad rap, but I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of at all. I really like the Bella Twins. I think, especially Nikki's very underrated.
Yeah.
She's the longest reigning Divas champion of all time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a favourite Nikki Bella match that you can think of?
The only match I can think of is her and Ronda Rousey at Evolution.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to lie, at the time I was a bit annoyed that was the main event just because, obviously, Charlotte and Becky are probably like
the hottest. Well, yeah.
Well, Ronda's probably was the biggest star, but then your second two are in a match together. But Nikki's got more.
She's got more draw from outside.
Yeah, outside draw. Yeah, she's more of a box office name maybe than Becky Lynch was at the time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's one match.
So your number 10 was
Nikki Bella.
Nikki Bella.
Your number 10?
Yeah. So my number 10 is.
Why did you repeated my number 10 again? It was just strange.
I was just starting to finish it off, so we knew you got finished for your number 10.
I'm finished for my number 10.
So my number 10 is Christian, also known as Christian Cage in TNA. So actually, when I first really started watching wrestling, I really didn't like Christian at all, to be honest.
Oh, really?
It's just his look. I didn't like the look at all. it might have been the second match I properly saw of him. He went to do a dive over the top rope off Edge's back, and Edge must have been really sweaty, and he just like slid off Edge and then fell like over the top rope. And I remember like first impressions, I thought, oh man, that looks pretty terrible. That.
Yeah.
And then he turned on Edge, and this is when Edge and Christian were brothers, but they're no longer brothers, which storyline and things.
Yeah. You just leave your brother, it's fine.
Yeah, but then when he changed his look, he cut the hair, he was Intercontinental Champion. That's when I really started to like him. He turned like, even though he was a heel, he kind of turned like extra heel at WrestleMania 20 when Trish turned heel on Chris Jericho. That was, really good. And then when I first really started liking Christian was when he went to TNA.
Okay.
And he won the, at the time it was the NWA Championship. He won it off Jeff Jarrett. Pretty like quick, really. So yeah, it kind of like made me like change the way I looked at him in a different way. Like it probably elevated him in my throat's really dry. In my opinion, obviously his TLC matches are like legendary with the Hardys. Edge is obviously his partner.
Yeah.
Dudley Boys. So some of my favourite matches of him in TNA, he had a really good cage match with Abyss at a Lockdown. I want to say it was 2006, but that's just me guessing off the top of my head. Okay. Just like, so if people want to go back and maybe watch clips on YouTube or something, they can.
Yeah.
He had a great match with Alberto Del Rio at SummerSlam 2013. I think this is like a lost in the card kind of match. Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was for the world title as well at the time. That's kind of when the world title didn't really mean as much.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a very underrated match as well. His feud with Randy Orton was really good as well. Obviously he won. I think he's one of the only people ever to win the World Championship by disqualification.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because obviously normally the title can't change hands on a DQ. But he did in that match. Obviously he's just recently returned at the Royal Rumble.
I know.
You can't keep on getting upset about that.
Well, I am. So you know.
Do you want to tell the story again, or?
Well, in our predictions, he had said pick someone as a surprise entrant, and we were talking about it over dinner about like what we're gonna pick, and I said Christian, and he like scoffed and like, ugh, he's injured, he's not coming back. Don't be so silly. So then I chose somebody else, and then he came back, and I wanted to strangle you essentially.
Yeah, well, if you had really been like, maybe you just saying it put out there and happened. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, and that's kind of why I've gone for all my predictions the way it has, and that's not helped me now. So. Yep. Yeah,
and also I was really lucky. I got to meet Christian. Was it 2 years ago now?
2019.
Yeah, and like it's people like Christian is the reason like why we started like the Man Games on the podcast show and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially like him and Edge are the kind of people that tell you to like believe in yourselves and
that's what he said.
You work hard, it'll pay off. In my signed picture of him, he wrote like bet on yourself. Which I really like. I got a picture of him. Like my picture was him in the title. So yeah, he was like a really nice guy, and I think if I hadn't met him, maybe he wouldn't have made the top 10. But I think, when people that you look up to, they actually are that nice as well. I think that's why he got bumped up and Kevin Nash got bumped out. So yeah, my number 10 was Christian.
Very good. So my number 9, funny enough, is actually John Cena.
So like years ago, he would have been your number 1, wouldn't he?
Years ago, he was my number 1, and like. Just loved everything about him, and I think ever since I've liked John Cena more for his character definitely, and the work he does outside of wrestling. Like I just love everything he does for like Make a Wish and those sorts of things. I
think he's given more like Make a Wish than any other celebrity, and like Justin Bieber was like trying to say that it was him or something when it was John Cena.
Definitely John Cena. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Like I'm definitely someone who likes to give back to the community.
Yeah,
that's kind of. Like a bigger ethos in me, so
obviously he can like change lives to like people. Like there's not like nothing like a normal person like us can really do like that, can there? Unless you guys keep subscribing and we get to like 3 million subscribers, and then we're like
donating to all these charities.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a lot of charity. Well.
Oh no, I know. I mean,
I do run a community.
No,
group,
I don't mean giving to charity, because we both do give to charities and things like that. I just mean like meeting someone. Obviously, you can't like where nobody's compared to like John Cena.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
I mean, like just him smiling at a kid's probably going to do more than,
Like, which is amazing. So I like that. I do love it. I did like his storyline between Rock and Cena, and I can remember watching the second match. I can't remember the second year.
Yeah, 2009. No, sorry, WrestleMania 29. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I was literally at the end of my seat, like, oh my god, Cena has to win. Cena has to win.
Yeah.
Spoiler, he does win. So yeah, I would say John Cena number 9.
So have you got like a favourite John Cena match at all? Or?
I just said.
So no, well, you didn't say. You said you liked that match.
Oh,
so you said that was your favourite John Cena match?
Yes.
Yeah. You just saying it because you can't think of another one off the top of your head?
I can think of one more, but it's definitely not favourite. It's made me very angry.
Oh, what's that?
The Brock Lesnar one.
Oh, where he just demolishes him?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
And like, I can remember watching that and my heart breaking. I'd be like, what's going on? So those two stick in my mind for the worst. I can give you the worst and I can give you the best, but I can't give you anything in between.
Yeah.
Can you give me anything to refresh my memory?
Well, obviously I don't know how you feel about things.
No, but I do always like his entrances at WrestleMania.
Yeah, some of them are good, some of them are better than others.
Yeah, but like when
the one where he got loads of people dressed up as himself and just going like this down the ramp, I thought that was a bit lame.
That was a bit weird, but there was one that came down in an army tank, that was quite good. There's another one...
He came down in an army tank?
Oh no, Rusev came down in an army tank, so then what did Cena do? There was something...
I honestly can't remember. So your favourite John Cena entrance is Rusev coming out on a army tank?
No, I know.
Apparently him and Lana, like, got G on that tank as well, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, so they've said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, anyway, I can't think of any now off the top of my head. But he has one with all, I think they're all like the soldiers or something. With the
guns in it.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but yeah. Anyway, so number 9, John Cena.
Just before I go into my number 9, the first John Cena vs Rock match, like even like people that we knew that didn't know anything about wrestling or used to like watch wrestling, they were still talking about it as well.
And I had somebody message me about it as well. Like a female that like I didn't even know what's wrestling.
And like when Cena lost to Rock, I just felt I know it's all like storyline and things like that, but I just felt so good for Cena when you see him on the ramp looking devastated. Like I honestly did feel like Cena should have won, just because obviously in my eyes at the time he was like the loyal one. He'd been there. He'd done
and how times have changed.
yeah. And now he's in the Fast and Furious films.
I know, it's really funny, isn't it? Because wasn't there like a bit of animosity, and he was saying like, you know, I've been here and The Rock's been out doing films and blah blah blah, and then he's had to like swallow a big pill and be like, actually, it's not so bad really going out and making films.
It was also really good when Cena like him and Rock were doing a promo in the ring, and he pointed out that The Rock had his promo on his hand, and then The Rock never recovered from the promo. I think that's like the only time that's ever happened.
Really, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I need to watch that back.
Right, so going on to my number 9, it could be lower down, but it might just be number 9 because of the way I was feeling today. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Chris Jericho was my number 9. And so when I first started watching wrestling, it was WCW. He was obviously on WCW at the time. My sister really liked Chris Jericho as well. Just a bit of a random fact. Not that I mean anything to anyone else. So yeah, it was fighting someone called Alex Wright a lot when I used to watch wrestling, which he was like a German wrestler, just danced a lot. Yeah, no, that's just a bit of a random bit of information as well there. I just really like how his characters changed so much over time. Like, I don't think any characters evolved as much as Chris Jericho has, and changed with the times and things.
Like, how long's he been wrestling for, and it's just never been stale?
No, never. Like,
I mean, there's no, like, we were saying Rey Mysterio, and you were saying
Jeff
Hardy, and, like, just so many people you think, like, bit stale now, like, let's change it up. And he just isn't one of those people.
Yeah, also, like, one of my favourite segments of Raw of all time, and this is, like, for Raw times, really, this is quite recent, is the Festival of Friendship. Like, it's just so good. Like, people say, like, The Rock's, was it The Rock's birthday that Mick Foley did on Raw, that's, like, the best
Oh, okay.
Raw
Oh,
segment.
and they say, like, is like, this is your life or something?
This is your life, yeah, that's it. Well done, I'm so proud of you.
Are you even a fan? Like, I feel like I'm getting a lot of things right and you're not.
Like, what else?
There's something else earlier on.
Oh, well done. I mean, you can't remember it now. But,
No, I can remember it now.
Where to show the people. So, yeah, some of my favourite Jericho matches. He had a great match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 19. He had a great ladder match with Shawn Michaels, maybe like a few years later. I think that might have been like 2009 in a ladder match. That was really good. A match that people might kind of forgot. He had a great match with Rey Mysterio. I think it was for the IC title. It was like a no disqualification match. and like at the end, he ripped Ray's. It was something to do with a chair, I think, and then he ripped Ray's mask off, and then he rolls him up straight after and wins, and he walks out with like the mask and the belt. I think that was like a really good like visual as well. And just like, I know it's the Festival of Friendship, but his work with Kevin Owens as well, I think was so good. I remember like at that year's SummerSlam when it was Jericho and Kevin Owens against Big Kaz and Enzo Amore.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, why have we got like this Franken team of like? I just remember thinking like, this is just like the shit.
How wrong you were.
Well, yeah, because I just
what
thought
were you
like,
gonna say? What was the S word you were about to say then?
I said the shits.
Is that not a swear word?
Well, it is, but we didn't settle on a swear jar, did we?
Oh, I like that. So when I was saying swear word, you're like, oh yes, swear jar. I know you're saying them, you're like, oh yes, the L one.
Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I just thought it'd be one of them times when they put them together and then they never do anything with them. But no, I like it when wrestling proves me wrong. And also now, obviously, he's in AEW, he's doing great stuff there. I liked it when it's probably like the second week of AEW when he was doing a promo in the ring and the crowd started shouting "We the People" for Jake Hager, sorry. And he was like, that was a stupid idea from stupid creative. Like, he just comes up with these great one-liners all the time.
He does, yeah.
There's another great segment where, I can't even remember why, but he had to apologise for something, and Jake Hager hadn't even spoke, and he's saying, I'd like to say, and you put the microphone in front of Hager and say sorry. And he's just so good, he's so funny. We have kind of like met Jericho as well, but like it was just for a photo, really, so it was kind of like a conveyor belt. You kind of like
it was
in and
very
out.
much so, but
your picture's like quite like sexual, really.
It's not sexual. We just thought that we're a really happy couple, and it's a lovely picture. I'm like proper. He's got his arm around me, and we're proper posing together. I think it's a great picture. He looks knackered though. To be fair,
he looks really tired. Doesn't he
looks tired. He looks a little bit like he's my husband that's travelled a lot, but I'm very happy to have him home.
I don't really like how happy you seem with this story, really.
He's so cranky.
So yeah, my number 9 was Chris Jericho.
Funny enough, my number 8, Chris Jericho.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
As you were saying that, I was like, oh, so just everything you just said. No, but yeah, so...
You can't just copy and paste this conversation.
Yes, I can. Where's the rules? Loved the work they did, like, what you said with Kevin Owens and The List. I loved his jacket, just in general. Like, the jacket that lights up. So good. Everything he does in it. I just think, just as you said, like, his character's never gone stale. I always look forward to seeing Chris Jericho. Do you know what I mean? I can't ever think a point where I was like, oh, like I've had enough of you or whatever. Like it's just always something that he's just always someone I really enjoyed watching.
Yeah, you loved his match with Fandango at WrestleMania 29, didn't you?
No, I didn't like that. Because who won?
Fandango. Where's Fandango now?
I was so angry about. I remember saying I don't want to watch anymore. WrestleMania. I was like, not doing it. I'm not watching anymore. But obviously,
and this was before you were like even like a really big fan as well.
It was.
Really?
I just remember thinking, if Fandango wins, it's an absolute joke. He cannot beat Chris Jericho, and then he did, and it was just, I was outraged. I was absolutely outraged. I wanted to riot and all sorts. I was not happy.
Yeah. So your number 8, Chris Jericho.
Number 8 is Chris Jericho. You just made me really angry thinking about that much now.
Sorry.
Just take a deep breath.
So my number 8 is Daniel Bryan. Just like I always like kind of like an underdog. Like even like Chris Jericho and Christian, like what I've said before, they're kind of like underdogs as well in my opinion. So I feel like a lot of people, apart from in my top 2, a lot of people in my list are like underdogs really, I'd say. I didn't really know a lot about Daniel Bryan until he came to WWE NXT, but his first match was actually with Chris Jericho in NXT, and that was just like an awesome match. And he dived through the ropes, and like I think Jericho, I can't remember if he moved or if Jericho like swung him into the announcer's table, but he takes his awful bum onto the announcer's table.
So it's funny because like obviously people like Daniel Bryan obviously was well known in the indies, but we don't watch any of the indie stuff because you can't access it over here, can you?
Not really, no.
Not really. So like and often like people come up or come to NXT and everyone's all excited about them, or like they put them in the crowd and everyone's like, oh, it's such and such, and we're like, who?
Yeah, like when we were at NXT for the first time and Rich Swann was there, and everyone was like, oh,
and we were like,
oh, like Swan, and we were like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like our indie stuff over here, it's more like in London, whereas we're not nowhere near that. So if we want to go to somewhere, it's like a 6-hour like travel all through day and crapping it, really.
What is it, a 4-hour drive down there?
Well, it's more than that to get to the centre.
Oh, to the centre, but we never drive to the centre, would we?
Oh, I'm just saying, it's like it'd be a long day, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, we did, where did we go? Arsenal Stadium.
You went to Arsenal Stadium. That was
Was
4-hour car drive, and then like
an hour on the tube.
Maybe 30 to an hour on the tube, yeah.
Yeah. And then we spent like not long there, and then we drove all the way back the same day.
Yeah. But that was for our nephew, though.
And it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
If you're listening.
I bet he doesn't listen to this.
He'll let us know, won't he?
Yeah. Back to Daniel Bryan. So when he won his world title for the first time, it was at a pay-per-view. I didn't even buy the pay-per-view. Oh. And that's when you used to buy the pay-per-views. And when I found out he won the title, even though I knew everything that happened, I bought the pay-per-view anyway just so I could watch him win the title.
Such a geek.
That's not a geek. That's a true fan.
Yeah.
And you know what happens? All he does is run in and pin someone. He's the money in the bank. And he just runs in and pins someone. He didn't even do a move.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how much did you pay to watch that?
15 quid.
Oh, my God.
Kind of what made him as well was losing the title.
Okay.
At WrestleMania 28 when he kisses AJ Lee, turns into a bro kick, and Sheamus wins. That was the first ever WrestleMania match you saw live. Do you remember?
Oh, and I remember.
And you said, "Oh, I hope all the matches are this quick."
I do remember that.
Yeah.
They weren't. It was very disappointing. No, it wasn't really. I did fall asleep though.
Through the Triple H match and Undertaker match.
Yeah. I think I fell asleep in Undertaker's entrance.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I do that every year.
Every year, yeah.
But now that he's not on anymore, maybe I won't.
Well, how can you fall asleep through something that's not there?
That's what I mean. Maybe I won't fall asleep during Mania, that's what I said.
The reason why she falls asleep through Mania is obviously because we're in the UK and we stay up and watch it. Not just because his entrance is 40 minutes.
Yep, yeah.
Also, he has a great match with John Cena for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 2013 as well. His match with Bray Wyatt at Royal Rumble 2014 is really good as well. He does a dive through the ropes and Bray catches him and hits his sister Abigail into the barricade. That's really good. He has his match with Brock Lesnar as well. It's Survivor Series. Is that 2018, I think? That's also another really good Daniel Bryan match. His work at the moment with Cesaro on SmackDown has been really good. And just like his build to WrestleMania 30, I think it's just considering he wasn't even meant to be in the match at all. He was meant to be facing Sheamus again that year.
Yeah.
But then CM Punk walked out, asked to go home, whatever you want to believe. Obviously that to change things. And then I do think his match with Triple H, the opening match, was actually better than the main event.
Yeah.
But both matches were really good.
That was great. Really good.
Yeah. One thing that I always remember though in the main event is when they do the Batista bomb into an RKO and Randy Orton lands on the
screens, the massive screens.
The massive screens that they don't. I don't think they have anymore, do they? They have just iPads. Yeah. But I'm thinking, that must.
And you can see everyone else walking around like.
And he's like, "Urgh!" Yeah. He's not you wouldn't sell that, would you? If it hadn't really,
And Batista's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what do I do now?
So my number 8 was Daniel Bryan.
Okay, my number 7 is James Drake.
James Drake. So, do you want to tell the people about James Drake who might not know?
Yes, so James Drake is currently on NXT and he's in a tag team he's in a tag team, with Zach Gibson and then the grizzled young veterans.
You have to say, grizzled!
Okay, but I can't do that. I know, I'm not even going to try because it'll just be horrendous. So...
on this week's NXT, he actually got to do half a promo as well with Zach Gibson.
That's exciting. Yeah. So the first time we actually saw James Drake, though, was at a indie show. Is that even a classified as an indie show?
Well, actually, we did see him at a WWE house show, but we didn't actually know it was him.
Really?
Yeah, because it was...
before Pavilion?
Yeah. Because it was Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate. Oh, he could have made my list as well.
Yeah.
Tyler Bate.
It was like an NXT UK match, but they didn't really announce who was
wrestling.
Tyler Bate was the main wrestler for his 6-man tag match.
Right. Okay.
And Pete Dunne was the other, but they didn't really say who the other people were.
Okay, but James Drake was.
James Drake was one with Pete Dunne, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, first time we remember seeing him then. It was like a tiny, tiny little show at our local pavilion. If there was 100 people there watching, I would be surprised. And we just went to take our nieces and nephews. just like
our nephew gave him so much crap for his match, didn't he?
Yeah, and our nephew like literally pulled him apart during
yeah.
his match.
At the end of their match, he comes over and he's like, because he loses, he's like, "That's your fault."
yeah. So, and I think watching him like do that character and that's what that. Did we go and meet him at the end? We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. My nephew was scared out of his mind.
Yeah, because he's been so nasty and like shouting.
James Drake was like, "Oh, you're not so talkative now, yeah."
So yeah, and then just sort of like following his career. So after we went to that show, I've then like found him on social media and sort of just like followed his career, and then watching him get to sort of NXT now is find it really exciting. It's kind of like
his first NXT UK Tag Team Champion.
Yes, sorry, they did get that. So yeah, it's kind of like watching not someone you know, but someone that you know.
It's kind of like what we said before, like you meet people that are really nice and you're more like invested in them, really.
Yeah, definitely. Like kind of got invested in the way that like, you know, this like our nephew was like proper giving him some wasn't holding back, and then you know, and then he could like have a bit of a joke with him, and you know, they were just well nice, and then just to watch them succeed and get to where they are. So don't ask me your favourite James match because I can't even think of one. Just so you know. So number 7, James Drake.
So my number 7 is someone else from my childhood. It is Diamond Dallas Page. So like again, he's kind of a bit of an underdog as well, just because he started out as being a wrestler like late on in life for him really, and he just wanted to be in like the wrestling business.
World,
yeah. He didn't think he'd ever be world champion. He says like he was saying that to Dusty Rhodes.
And Dusty was like, "What are you doing here?
What you doing it for?" I think that's the first time I ever tried to do a Dusty impression.
Oh, it wasn't bad, you know.
I'm not going to keep on trying. So he wrote down like he'll be world champion in 5 years, and he did it in 4 years and something.
Yeah.
So yeah, winning the WCW title, like the match. I think that pay-per-view that he wins it on. Sorry, that was bad English. That pay-per-view that he wins his first WCW championship match. Oh, I've said it wrong again. No, I think that's right, isn't it?
Well, I would say 1 because 1 is past tense.
Yeah, where he won his first WCW World Championship. The whole pay-per-view is just like a really good pay-per-view, and that is like WCW pay-per-views are very hit and miss. Like you can go from like a really good match to like the dog worst. So if you didn't know, he won it in a fatal 4-way match. It was him against Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Sting, and there was a special guest referee who was the Macho Man Randy Savage. But yeah, it's just a great pay-per-view. Spring Stampede, 1999, I want to say that was. So if you've not seen it, check it out on the network. It is really good. His match with Goldberg at Halloween Havoc, that was really good as well. I remember, like as a kid, DDP was doing like commentary on a week, like leading up to the pay-per-view and just like talking like smack about Goldberg, saying he was going to win the title. He had a really good feud with Macho Man Randy Savage as well. Macho Man wanted to feud with him as well. This was in like 97. I think they got like feud of the year in Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Oh wow.
Which for like I think normally it was all like WWF pay-per-views that would get the big feuds and stuff, and they actually won it. He had a good feud with Scott Steiner as well. I remember it was over like his wife Kimberly, and like he got in a car with Kimberly, did Scott Steiner, and like he threw out the car in front of DDP. I remember thinking like, oh my god, like if you liked her as well, why did you throw her out of the car? My dad like having to explain to me, like he was like, no, it's because he wants to hurt DDP. You don't care about the woman.
That's so cute.
Yeah. We like me and my friends used to try and like react what happened. Yeah. Just like a random bit of information. And also he's in my all-time favourite match, but we'll leave that till later on. So yeah, my number 7, DDP Diamond Dallas Page.
He also got a really good book, hasn't he? We both read his book.
Yeah, well, it is good, but like towards the end, you don't like if you're not going to do like his eating plan things, you don't need to read like the last bits of his book, really.
I wonder if he's got more books out. I'm sure he does. Anyway, so my number 6 is AJ Styles.
So before we go into your number 6, shall I just say my number 6 is AJ Styles as well?
Oh really?
Yeah. How random is that?
That is. We didn't write these together. This is.
Yeah. I just didn't want to like have a similar Chris Jericho situation.
Okay, so
we kind of like just talk about these together. Then
so for me, AJ Styles, I imagine this is very much the same for you, is, and I'm sure we've mentioned it once or twice on the podcast, but we were at Royal Rumble 2016 when AJ Styles debuted, and I can just the atmosphere and the excitement of seeing AJ Styles. I almost lost my eardrum because you shouted so loud. It was just incredible, and like, I kid you not, the crowd just continued chanting for him, like
even after he was out of the
like, you know, it was just amazing. I think the best part was we'd actually already seen him that year at 5 Star Wrestling in Newcastle,
and that was less than a week before.
Yeah, we flew out.
Yeah, we flew out maybe the same time as he did.
Yeah, probably. So we'd just seen him. You know, at that little indie show. So for us, we were like, because obviously there was those rumours that he wasn't going to.
I didn't think that anything would come of it there.
Yeah, so that there's all these rumours. We didn't think anything would come of it. We'd just seen him in 5 Star Wrestling. We knew that 5 Star Wrestling were doing more shows, weren't they?
Yeah.
So we were thinking, he's probably just going to stay indie, you know, that sort of thing. And then to see him there was just like, blow me away.
Yeah, and also around that time, everyone was thinking Daniel Bryan was going to come back. So I remember going into that thinking Daniel Bryan's going to come. I think I was focusing so much on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
When you got AJ Styles, it was like, oh wow. Like,
and like, I think his music and like the way.
No one knew who he was.
No, this is it. So like, the music came on and like, it was just, and then it's like, I am like.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I was getting to that.
Sorry, I thought you were like, I am. Shit, I don't know the word.
No, you swore again. So no, I obviously the way AEW, WWE creative had like figured that out, and like the way that they planned it, and I'm assuming it was planned that way, but it just, the suspense almost of like, number 3 music hit. Okay, we don't know the music. What is his? And it's
remember thinking like when his music came on, like, who's this? They've got crap music, and now I love his music. And
because it starts off like it's not like it doesn't like hit you straight away like some of the other music. It sort of like goes in like slow, and then it builds. I don't know. Just I don't think for me it could have been any better.
No. So AJ Styles is one of the reasons why I started watching like TNA back in the day. So it was like the names, like when Sting was getting more involved in Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and things like that were getting involved. That made me watch like TNA, but like the actual like X Division, that's what like kept me around really. There was AJ Styles, Petey Williams, Chris Sabin. They were like really good. They had like a 5-star match in their Unstoppable match. It was AJ, Joe, and Christopher Daniels. The X Division, I think it was the first time the X Division Championship had main evented a pay-per-view. He had great matches with Kurt Angle in TNA. He also has like some underrated matches, in my opinion, on just like episodes of Impact. He had a great match with Stevie Richards and Doug Williams on Impact that I remember. He won the TNA Championship in, I think it was like a fatal 5-way. Won it off Kurt Angle. He had a great match with Sting at Bound for Glory, and then obviously when he came to WWE, his matches with Roman Reigns have been really good. Obviously he won the championship off Dean Ambrose. Him and Dean Ambrose have that TLC match, which is amazing. He had a great match with Shane McMahon.
Just a few good matches then, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's phenomenal.
That is true. So actually, I can think of my favourite AJ Styles match.
You're just going to say the Shane McMahon match, aren't you?
Yes, I am. So that is my favourite AJ Styles match. I love that match, and I don't know, I feel like nobody else enjoyed as much as I did, but it was one of my favourite matches on that pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was the match of the pay-per-view. Definitely.
Yeah, really enjoyed that match. Thought they looked brilliant.
When the WWE Championship matches like worms and maggots and stuff, like...
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't hard to beat. But, yeah, so
our number 6 is AJ Styles.
Ugh, we sound like really corny, don't we? Like,
yeah.
AJ Styles. Ugh,
right, so now you're number 5.
Number 5, Becky Lynch.
Right.
I'm just starting to think that she maybe should have been a bit higher. But anyway, she's there now, and I've said it. So number 5 is Becky Lynch. She's just a badass, isn't she? Like, what isn't there to like about her? Like, she starts off at like, down at NXT, and she, doesn't get, I wouldn't say she doesn't get taken seriously, but the 4 horsewomen, she doesn't get called up. No, she does get called up.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
Yeah, but she just always seems a bit
like... she's very unsuspected. Like, I was shocked when she got called up.
Yeah, sorry. And then, like, she hasn't been used, and she just literally has to, like, fight her way to get to where she is. And she's just, like, the epiphany of, like, a bad woman. She just is, like, love her.
Do you have a favourite Becky Lynch match?
I have a favourite Becky Lynch moment. Will that count?
Yeah.
When Nia Jax punches her and like breaks her nose or whatever she does, and then that image of her stood up in the crowd, and she's got the blood on her face, and she just looks like that vision, like that image is like engraved in my mind.
It's like a Stone Cold like moment, isn't it?
It is like, you know, that's going to be around forever, and like that sort of thing. And she must have been in so much pain, like, you know, she just looks proper bloody, and like, you know, she's just taken an actual brutal beating, like not one of these like petty ones or like, you know, when you think it's not that bad really. She has literally been beaten up, and she still looks like she still looks like she was stronger than Nia Jax coming out of that.
Oh, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Nia Jax look like nothing compared to her. I don't know. Brilliant. What about you? Oh, sorry. Number 5, Becky Lynch.
So my number 5 is also another woman. It is Trish Stratus is my number 5.
What? Thought she'd be up higher than that.
Yeah.
Really? I'm so surprised. Up until we moved into this house, you had a picture of her next to your bed.
Yeah, she was my angel before you were.
I'm just saying.
Now my angel is only 8 months old.
I've been pushed right down the list.
Yeah, you're number 11. So the first time I actually saw Trish Stratus on wrestling, it was at the Backlash 2000 pay-per-view where the Dudley Boys put her through a table. And like I remember thinking, like, why would you do that? It's like this angel, like, why would you do that? And like I just instantly like fell in love with her. Like,
love at first sight, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
true love.
And like again, like I think she was like a bit of an underdog because I think people thought that she was just like a model and she wouldn't make it as like a good wrestler. And then at that year's, 2001 Survivor Series, she wins the Women's Championship, but she didn't really have it for that long, I don't think. But she had great feuds with Molly Holly, Victoria, Lita, and Lita main evented Raw, the first woman ever to do so. Her match with Lita at Unforgiven was also really good, where she ended the match in a sharpshooter. Obviously, I think they're in Toronto, and obviously sharpshooter is like the Canadian finishing move, really, in it. And her match with Charlotte Flair at 2019's SummerSlam is probably. I hope it is our last match because obviously I do actually think that might be the best match she's ever had.
Yeah.
In my opinion, so yeah, my number 5 is Trish Stratus.
Okay. My number 4 is Orange Cassidy. So, Orange Cassidy obviously is in AEW, so he's not. I'm sure he's been on the Indies for a lot longer than.
There's loads of videos of him on YouTube.
Yeah, but obviously, as I said earlier, we don't watch indie stuff ever. So obviously, we've only seen him since he's been on AEW, and I can remember the first time watching him properly. And like really taking note of his match was when he was in that just a Casino ladder match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Casino ladder match. Yeah,
Casino ladder match, and I just thought like it's just like watching a teenager. And like I work with teenagers, I used to work in a college, and honestly, like I could see this is what the kids do to me, like hands in their pockets, ugh. Like everything's just no, I can't get the pencil out, it's too hard. Like that's actually what they're like, and he does that as a character. And he just makes it look so good. And you were surprised at how
I was really surprised. I thought you would think he's one of them people that would be like, oh, well, he's just like exposing the business. Like that's why people don't like wrestling. He's just making wrestling look stupid. Like that's honestly what I thought he'd be like.
And I think he's really clever because the way he looked, like he just does so like it's so minimalistic what he does. But it just looks fantastic. You know, wrestling with your hands in your pockets. Actually, that's actually quite a big skill. And yeah, he doesn't need to do it. Like I think the less he does, the better. And I don't think a lot of people can do that. You know, a lot of people like are all like everything and constant and all this stuff. And he isn't. He's just like he just does the bare minimum to scrape by. And I think he does his character brilliantly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would say about it's not Orange Cassidy, it's AEW. I think maybe they just overuse him a little bit. I think Orange Cassidy is a bit like less is more.
Mm-hmm.
That like, but saying that we've got to number 4, and that's the first really negative thing we've said about someone on the list, really.
That's true.
Which I think is pretty good, really.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes I do worry a bit like when we're doing these reviews, sometimes we can be a bit negative. But that's mainly because 90% of videos are all WWE like pay-per-views, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
But soon we've got AEW Revolution. It feels like so long ago when Full Gear was. Like so much has happened since then.
How long ago was it?
Beginning of November.
Oh wow!
It was the last AEW pay-per-view.
That's crazy.
This one was meant to be sooner, but it got pushed back.
Especially because WWE seems to have like 2 a month.
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but thereabouts.
Oh, sometimes they do.
Yeah, and then AEW are like, we'll wait 4 or 5 months, shall we? So yeah, for me, number 4, Orange Cassidy.
So my number 4 is TheMan Becky Lynch. Now I know we've just talked like your thoughts about her. So the first time really that like Becky Lynch stood out for me was her unstoppable match with Sasha Banks. She didn't win it, but I feel like it's probably like when someone got over in defeat kind of thing. Like after that match, I think it's because she debuted like a new presentation as well. Because before then she was doing like an Irish dancer stuff and just like silly stuff really. But after that match, it made me become a massive fan. It kind of like annoys me in a way because sometimes when I say like I'm a big Becky Lynch fan, I'm worried that people think I just jumped on the bandwagon. It's like, well, actually, I was one of the people that's been behind her for years.
I can remember when you were a fan of her at the beginning, and I was like, why would you be a fan of her? Like, I'll admit, I was like that. I was wrong.
Well, like I said before, I was really shocked when she got called up. I was really worried she was going to get lost in the shuffle. She did a little bit, but we're really lucky. Like when we went to the Royal Rumble, I was gutted she didn't win, but I was like pleased I got to see her. Because really, that was like because there wasn't a WWE Championship singles match. That was like the main singles match. I felt, even though like the opening match probably was the best match of the show, I felt like that was more presented as like the big world title match. I know like the Royal Rumble match was for the World WWE Championship, but the Royal Rumble sells the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
really.
That's it.
You showed a great match at WrestleMania 32 that year. The women definitely stole the show. I think that year the women could have main evented. Like I think they could have done it 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
Like definitely with that match. And no one was into Roman Triple H that actually main evented the show. So I feel like that could have main evented the show definitely. She did win the SmackDown Women's Championship, but then she just like when she lost it, she just got so underused and forgotten about. And like I was one of them people that was like I don't really go on Twitter much anyway, but like on the show, no Becky Lynch, no Becky Lynch, no Becky Lynch. Like it was just like really like starting to annoy me. And then obviously we were going to SummerSlam 2018, and then it's the first time she's back in the title picture in so long. And then she like, well, they say I know I spoke about this on the podcast before, but she turns heel. They want you to think she doesn't turn heel, but she does turn heel. We were there at the SmackDown, and she was like blaming the fans, and we were like, nah, don't think so. We're still cheering for you.
We still love you.
Yeah. A match with Charlotte.
We're sorry for whatever we did.
A match with Charlotte at Evolution. She was definitely wrestling as a heel, in my opinion, as well. But we we all love her, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just a shame we never got that one match with Ronda Rousey, in my opinion. It was nice that she won the Royal Rumble, which to me it should have just been Becky Ronda in the main event, but Charlotte Flair needs to get involved in somehow, doesn't she?
Hopefully, though, one day we may see Ronda Becky.
Maybe, yeah. And also her Hell in a Cell match with Sasha Banks, I think, is really good as well. And they just do stuff in the Hell in a Cell that's never been done before, which I really like. And Sasha's done that again with. Well, I think Sasha's done that in every Hell in a Cell match she's been in. Yeah,
Sasha probably should be someone on our list, really, shouldn't she? Like you think about.
There was a time when I really didn't like Sasha though.
Okay.
Just when her and Bayley were friends, they weren't friends, they were friends, they weren't friends.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It was just on for so long. It was kind of like, I know we're getting sidetracked now, but it's like, break them up, have them together. Like, stop like teasing, they're going to split up, and don't. They even got that Dr. Shelby back in, who did Team Hell No, and then nothing even came of that. It was just like, that was just irritating.
I don't think they knew what they wanted to do, and I think that came off very clearly.
This 2020, even though there was no fans and COVID was a thing with the pandemic and lockdowns and things like that, Sasha and Bayley really, like, it was their year, like in the women's division, definitely. So yeah, my number 4, TheMan Becky Lynch.
So finally we talked about that. My number 3 is Ronda Rousey. So I think maybe we sound a bit hypocritical because obviously I just said earlier that like Bianca Bella and like they haven't been in it long enough, but obviously Ronda Rousey has like a reputation like prior to WWE.
Does she?
Just a small one, just like the teeniest tiny little one. Do you know what I mean? So like, she was well known obviously before she came in, and I just loved her. Just trying to think, like, I can't exactly pinpoint what I liked about her.
Was it the massive leather jacket she had on?
I do like a good leather jacket.
That leather jacket was actually Rowdy Piper's original, apparently.
Yeah, I did know that. But yeah, just, you know, her look that she came in with, and just sort of like, I think she definitely did elevate the women's division and sort of bring a lot of eyes to it, which, you know, as a fan, like, obviously you really appreciate. And I think the way that, obviously I know she's an athlete. I know she was already doing UFC, that's right.
Yeah,
UFC. I couldn't get the right letters out for a second then. But I think, you know, she took on wrestling and she sort of put her own spin onto it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and she wasn't like a Brock Lesnar either. She didn't just come in and do the big show. She did house shows.
Yeah, she did everything.
And everything, yeah.
And we watched her. We saw her win her championship in Brooklyn at SummerSlam.
Against Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, against Alexa Bliss. So that was, you know, it was great to see that. So yeah. Although she was only in, how long was she in wrestling for? 2 years? A year?
Not really, even 2 years, really.
Yeah, like just short of 2 years. I still think she had, like, I mean, a massive impact. And like, I can remember, like, wanting to get like a good Ronda Rousey shirt. I was like, I have to have a good one to go overseas with. And like, still got my Ronda Rousey shirt. Still wear that with pride. Still wear it to the gym. I feel like I'm a badass when I wear it to the gym.
You could have worn it for this stream, but
I could have done.
You chose a winter jumper.
I know, it's really. I know you're in like a summer t-shirt, and I'm in a winter jumper.
I'm ready for summer.
I'm just not that I'm holding on to winter, but it's just a little nippy.
Okay. So, anything else you want to add?
No, I think I'm okay.
So, my number 3 is Eddie Guerrero. Obviously, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. When I first started watching wrestling, he was part of the LWO, the Latino World Order. And then he was with the Filthy Animals. That was Rey Mysterio, Billy Kidman, and Conan. They were just like, this was like kind of like doing like Steven Chilling before, you know,
before like Steven Chilling.
yeah, just being mischievous and not giving a damn and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, when he came to WWE, obviously he got like a better like spot and TV time and things like that. Great stuff with China. Yeah. Is when he got with Chavo and they were doing the lie, steal and cheat. Why do you keep saying cheat? Like steal and cheat gimmick.
Yeah.
They did the advert. Have you seen the adverts? They did?
Yeah.
They were real funny. Great matches with Rey Mysterio. Their match at Halloween Havoc '97. Amazing. He has a great no disqualification match with Edge on episode of SmackDown. He had a great ladder match with RVD on Raw. Actually, in that match, I think a fan came in and pushed him off the ladder as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is obviously awful. He won the WWE Championship against Brock Lesnar, another great match. And also a match that maybe people don't really remember. He had a great steel cage match with JB on an episode of SmackDown. I feel like that's like a really good match that kind of gets forgotten about a little bit. So yeah, like gone, but definitely not forgotten. I think Eddie Guerrero could be in a lot of people's top 5 lists.
Yeah, definitely. You got his
limited edition book.
Yeah, thanks to me.
Yeah, you persuaded me to get it. There is a video of that on the channel somewhere.
Yeah.
That was like a while ago now, before we like started doing better thumbnails and stuff like that.
But yeah, there is a video of that.
So yeah, my number 3, Eddie Guerrero.
Good. My number 2, slightly, it is a tag team, and maybe something that's a bit like out of the box, I suppose you could say, is that Mustache Mountain. You
told me before you've forgotten about Tyler Bate.
Yeah, I know that, but I didn't put him in singular.
Ah, right.
That's what I meant. Do you know what I mean? So I put him as a tag team.
Right, okay.
I didn't put him in singular, did I?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's my justification. But anyway, so this is purely based on one match. And like, I know that seems like a lot to get to number 2, but like, it is the best match I've ever seen live, and it's like the one that, like, when someone says to me, "What's your favourite match ever?" this is the first thing that comes into mind. And then they're British, so that like nudges them into number 2 as well.
You're Australian.
I know that, but I am part British. But I am Australian too, Mum. Just in case she's listening.
Hi, Pam.
So at NXT Brooklyn 4, Mustache Mountain had a match against Undisputed Era.
You can't remember who's in it, can you?
No.
Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly.
Damn it, I was going to say Bobby Fish.
No, Bobby Fish was injured.
Anyway, And they're
So there's a favourite match which you didn't actually know who was in it.
Well, I knew Undisputed Era was in it. And Mustache Mountain and just the story that was told in that match and just the match in general, like everything, like
it was one of the matches that definitely told a story.
It told a story. It held my attention. The wrestling was just next level. Sometimes, like during wrestling matches, even like especially not especially live, but like when I'm watching, I like listen to the commentary a lot because they help me like with moves and what's going on. Because I'm not like I know you tune them out, but like when I'm watching a lot of sport, like when I watch rugby and football, I like to listen to the commentary because that helps me put it together. So I find when I go to a live thing, I struggle to stay focused because I don't have that talking in my ear to keep me focused, I suppose.
I have that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I have you.
Asking questions.
Yeah.
What's going on? Who's that? What's going on? So like I kind of need that thing to keep me. And so sometimes in a live show, I can tune out very easily, which is probably really bad of me to say, but like a mid-match, I can sort of tune out and be like, oh, okay, what's going on? But that did not happen at all during this match because it was so good.
Do you have any other like Tyler Bate or Trent Seven matches that you like off the top of your head?
No, I can't think of anything.
Well, I'm sorry, you said you can't think, but Pete done Tyler Bate at NXT Chicago. That was was it Chicago? Yeah, I think it was Chicago. Yeah, for the NXT UK Championship. That was a really good match. We were actually talking about moving home. Do you not remember? We were sat.
Oh, is this when we went to go view a house?
We're going to view a house. Well, we're talking about going to view a house. And watching this match, but we just kept on like.
I do remember this. I was trying to convince you to move home, and you're like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, just okay, we'll go view this house." That's what you're like to me. You had to keep pausing it, but that's why we moved house. Is that right?
Because of Tyler Bate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I meant because you just want to shut me up. You agreed to it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So my number 2 is Mustache Mountain.
So my number 2 is Scott Hall. So my last 2 are more character based really than actual like in ring. And obviously Scott Hall was really good. He's got a great mind for wrestling in my opinion. He like when we met him actually did share like some of his current thoughts with us as well. Which obviously a lot of people don't really want to give their real opinions, I don't think, whereas he really did.
Oh, he did, definitely. Can't say he was wrong either.
Well, he said to us, he said that Ricochet, he might do all these flips and stuff, but like...
He hasn't got the wow factor.
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah, pretty much.
And then he pretty much implied that WWE are going to do jack all with him.
Yeah, and look where he is now. So, yeah, I didn't know him as Razor Ramon before. I'd seen him in like wrestling albums and stuff like that. So I only really knew like Scott Hall until like I've gone back and watched other Razor Ramon things. Just like seeing his like debut in WCW was just so cool. Where like he just walked in the middle of a match and they just had to stop the match. Like he just felt like so real. His promos were so good. Just like he just had it in my opinion.
Whatever it is that you need, he had it.
Yeah, he definitely had it, yeah. It's like when it's just someone when they talk, you listen kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like obviously The Rock's on a different level than anyone in the world.
Yeah.
But like he's got that about him, should we say?
Yeah.
His match with Shawn Michaels when he was Razor Ramon for the IC title ladder match, that's probably like his most famous match he's ever had. Which is obviously really good. He did actually nearly win the WCW World Championship on an episode of Nitro. Like I was really into it, but then Jeff Jarrett cost him the match, which was BS. So yeah, obviously, like I said, we met Scott Hall. He's probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. Considering he's been for us through so much.
So it's funny you should say this because at first I didn't like Scott Hall because he had such a reputation, and like you always really liked him, and obviously. He had such a bad reputation with like drugs and alcohol and everything like that. But then we watched something. What did we watch?
The Scott Hall DVD.
Yeah, we watched Scott Hall DVD, and then he tells like his full story.
Which is on the network now, I think.
Okay, is it?
Yeah.
And we should like get commissions off the network every time you say that. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
And his story, and then what actually happened, like what happened in his early life and stuff like that. You just think. Well, he's not early.
He killed someone. Yeah,
he murdered somebody.
Yeah, because someone was getting raped and he stopped him and then did a gun off or something. And
yeah,
I can't remember the full story, but it was something like that. So, he accidentally killed someone as he was saving someone. That's and like he started drinking and doing things because he's like religious. In his mind, he's automatically going to hell because of what he did.
And also, I think back in that time, there's no therapy or like it's not. You don't talk about your emotions or anything.
Bottle it up.
You bottle it up, and
press it down.
And that's not right. And it, obviously, hopefully, I feel like we have come a long way from there. There's still a lot of work to do in mental health and stuff like that. But hopefully, we are going in the right direction. But it's sad that back then that he felt like he couldn't talk about it, and maybe talking about it and opening up about it would have helped him a lot. And so I feel like not that you can't blame someone, but like it's once you hear that story, you just think, oh my God, no wonder you're doing those things and you're acting the way you are because, my God, like how you must have been feeling inside, those demons just must have been just awful. So
yeah. And also like I did say like a few negative things about Kevin Nash before this, but I feel like Kevin Nash is someone that's been a really good friend of Scott Hall and has helped him through a lot. So obviously for that, like fans like me, I'm really grateful that he was there for Scott Hall. But like just like meeting him, he kind of just talked to us like we were like friends. Like he didn't, I don't know, just like
there was no like sometimes you meet someone and it feels like
awkward.
Yeah, and and it's a bit awkward, and you know that you're like just like little like pay my money just so you can quickly say hello to me. Yeah. And he was like he just wanted to like just chat. We
had the longest talk with him. Him and Hacksaw Jim Duncan, I'd say they were the two people we got to talk to a bit longer than anyone.
Yeah.
And like I'd said to him, like your debut into TW was awesome, and like he went through and told us how it all came about.
Yeah.
And then he said like he was like, oh, is there actually wrestling here tonight? And we're like, oh, I think there is, but we have to go. I've got work tomorrow. And it's like, why are you working on a Sunday?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, I'm a chef. I have to work on a Sunday. Spoiler alert, I'm a chef. Really, this isn't my full-time job. And he was like, oh, how lucky are you? Got a chef in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am lucky. Yeah. But yeah, so he was just absolutely ace to me. So
yeah, and also like when we got our picture of him, you could like they print off the pictures and they put them on the table, so you just pick your own one out. But there was so many of him like wrestling with the kids in the pictures and stuff like that. Considering and he called the so when we're going for our picture, I get a picture first, which you can see behind me there, with Scott and Kevin Nash, and then you went for yours, and you said, "Oh, can my husband stay in for the picture?" And
which we'd done previously with another
when we met Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one was like, well, no, because he's paid for his picture and he's got his picture.
Yeah.
So and then Scott was like, oh, what does it matter? Just let him be in the picture.
He actually swore, didn't he?
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, honestly, it's fine. And then like really awkward. I went to shake his like the wrong hand. So when you shake someone's hand and it's like that, it was like a bit awful. Like not awful, but like just awkward. But but it's like, oh come on, mate, don't
don't ruin this.
Yeah. And then like he said, what knobheads or something under his breast, didn't he?
Yeah, he said it's a fucking joke.
Oh, I remember he swore.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was probably fuming at the phone.
Didn't he say to you, "Oh, how did you just let you have the picture or something?"
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, well, like, you had the picture, so if it's not a problem with me, what's the problem? Like, what's the problem with them?"
Yeah.
So. Yeah, he was not happy with them at all, and he was trying to. And I think he was. If you hadn't walked off so quickly, he was trying to usher you back to get a second picture.
No.
Yeah.
It's just all awkward and everything, like because the picture is like in a conveyor belt. Everything just happens really like fast.
Yeah, and they're not like exactly particularly friendly, are they? So.
Well,
not the wrestlers. Sorry, the organisers can be quite like.
It's the same people. So when we met Sting, it was at a Comic-Con. This was like a full wrestling like convention. And by the same people,
which I think those people obviously they've been there all day and probably dealing with a lot of horrible people, so I can understand sometimes why they get
maybe. But like when we did the Sting one, everyone was like you said, "Okay, my husband's staying for our picture," because he's paid for 2 pictures. You're still getting 2 pictures.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh yeah, sure," and even like Sting was like, "Oh yeah, it'd be a really good picture."
Yeah.
But these people are like, no.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, man number 2 was Scott Hall, Rez Ramon, the bad guy.
Okay.
So now I'm going to your number 1.
Number 1, Finn Balor. Finn Balor is my number 1. I want to say because he's so fit, but I'm not allowed to say that apparently.
I said Trish Stratus was love at first sight.
I know that, but like he's just so good looking. But you said to me
that's not really like a like.
No, but I do love his demon character, and obviously he's an absolutely amazing wrestler. And I can remember when he won the Universal Championship, and then he got injured, like in the match.
Next day,
well, he got injured in the match.
Sorry,
and to like
vacate the championship.
Yeah, I like just remember being heartbroken because that was such a good match as well.
Oh yeah, it was a really good match.
Really good match, and then
I think that's maybe his best main roster match he's had.
Yeah, definitely, and I just think like, where would he be now?
If that hadn't happened.
If that hadn't happened, and it like breaks my heart.
See, he never got back to that level, really. I know he had a match with Brock Lesnar for the championship, but it just didn't feel the same.
It did not feel the same at all. And then obviously his like demon character is brilliant.
So I did like a recreation of that match on the channel on 2K20, but kind of like the other way around, where Finn Balor squashes Brock Lesnar, and that's one of my most disliked videos.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, all these people that they're talking about.
Don't you offend our fans like that? That's not very nice. Yeah. Everyone's allowed their own opinion.
They are, but if
we appreciate everyone's opinions at the Man Games, whether you're right or wrong, they're your opinions.
No, you can't be right or wrong, then, can you?
What?
There is no right or wrong. That's what you should be saying.
What she said. Moving on.
So Finn Balor.
That's about it.
He's just very good looking, and he's a great wrestler, and he.
You sound like a child.
Why?
Oh, I like the boy because he's pretty.
No, but I said say my favorite.
So like, you've gone through like 9 other names, like really good, like saying blah 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 blah, and then you want he's a pretty boy.
His matches at Rollins are very good. I'm trying to think of a demon match that was really good that like stands out in my mind.
Well, we saw him as the demon.
We did.
Brooklyn against Corbin. It was just a squash match, but
yeah, I didn't like.
Oh no, we saw him as well at the Raw. He fought Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
But that match was spoiled by that guy.
Yeah, so there was a guy in the crowd off his face on maybe drugs or drink or something. Well, definitely drink, but you know, might have taken other things as well. Just getting carried away. He ends up getting so the security guards come over and say to him, like, pipe down or we're gonna throw you out. So what does the guy do? He starts going suck it to the security guy, so they grab him by the neck and throw him out, and then his kids are just sat there by themselves. It was just
It's awful. So that distracted me from that match. And I remember when he was having that match with
Roman.
Nope. With
Finn. No, he's Finn. Seth.
No. Stop saying names. Baron Corbin. And I was so disappointed. I wanted like a good match for him, and then when it was a squash match, I was like, pfft.
It was nice to see the demon there.
It was, but it was good.
And it was unexpected.
Yeah. So like that was good. So yeah, I just like him.
I wonder if you could like grate cheese on his abs.
I think you could.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd grate cheese on his abs.
Really? Okay, so my number one pick, you probably all know because I talk about it all the time. My number one favourite wrestler of all time is Sting. So this is like all about the character, really. The presentation. He's just so unique, so different. I'm amazed he's still like on telly now, like doing stuff. Honestly, like when he finished WCW, I honestly thought that was going to be it, and then obviously went to TNA, went to WWE. Now he's on AEW. I'm not gonna lie, I've not really enjoyed a lot of the stuff he's been doing on AEW just because it's been very repetitive. Hopefully now things are starting to change. It'll always be my number one favourite wrestler. It's just like on AEW at the moment. I know I'm being a bit negative already, but it's
he's like, my favourite, but I hate this.
It's like interview, backstage segment, interview. You know, it's just like
all the same.
All the same currently at the moment, but hopefully things are going to change. A bit. But yeah, like it's like his face paint, his look, his presence, just like everything. Persona, yeah, he's just so great. Him teaming up the Warrior against Bret Hart and Hogan on an episode of Nitro as a kid, that was like Sting and Warrior like teaming up. That was like a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the match wasn't great. He has great matches with Ric Flair. His match with Kurt Angle, I think like his second match with Kurt Angle was more my favourite, even though he did lose. I felt like the second match had more like gelled for me. He has a great match with Samoa Joe. Like Samoa Joe like jumps out of like like the boxes that sit on in the arenas.
Yeah.
And like he jumps out kind of like out of one of them onto like Sting walking up the like the crowd, and that was like a really good spot. His match with Seth Rollins as well, even though he gets injured, I feel like that was a really good match as well. Do you not agree with that? Or no, what, just because he got injured?
I just don't think he looked great. I think maybe because he got injured, that made him look like he just looked old in my eyes. Oh. He looked like an old man wrestling.
I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are in Revolution when he has a match.
Yeah. He's probably about the same.
And obviously, like my favourite match of all time, it's him and DDP on episode of Nitro. As a kid, like I was just so invested in this match. Also, something I wanted to say about DDP as well, which I forgot before, he's probably like the first wrestler that I really loved when he was a babyface, but I also hated him when he was a heel as a kid. Like like it didn't matter with me if Sting was a heel or face, whatever. Like I was always gonna like when Sting turned on Hogan and won the title, like it did not bother me at all. Sting's my guy; he's always gonna be my guy. But yeah, when like DDP did it, like 1 minute, like I like you, next minute, don't think so. Like obviously when I was a kid. But yeah, when he won the championship off DDP, like I don't know, like it was just like as a kid, like it was the biggest buzz like you could have got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then unfortunately, he lost the title back like an hour later, which like killed me. I don't think I've ever gotten over it. But no, like I think that's the obviously like when I was a kid, that was like when I was like when you think everything's real and like
yeah,
it was like back then like the world championship was like the most important thing in wrestling, whereas today it just feels more like a prop really, especially in WWE.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sting, my all-time number one guy. Finn Balor, the wife's all-time number one guy. Both face-painted characters as well.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
I think, I don't know, I feel like as a kid as well, like with a face paint as well, it kind of like draws you in because it's different, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then
I think you could dress up as, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did dress up as Halloween, yeah.
I can imagine.
Isn't
there a picture?
Not on the wall. Oh. There's a picture of me as a child with a fake Undertaker and a fake animal from Legion of Doom, or Road Warriors, but yeah, that can just stay up there. And I remember when I went to that event as well, I actually thought it was like WWF. And I went in like an NWO t-shirt and I was really worried that they wouldn't let me in because it was going to be the WWF and I had a WCW t-shirt on.
It's so cute.
And then when I got there, I didn't know anyone. And they were like, yeah, that's not the Undertaker.
Aww.
Yeah. So I think that is it from the podcast today. This is like one of the longest ones we've done in a long time.
The longest one we've ever done.
It's not the longest one we've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, the Judgment Day one is a really long one we've done.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, I really enjoyed doing this podcast today.
Me too.
So guys, oh god, I thought I was going to fall off my chair. So guys, if you have your top 10 you want to share it with us, you can put it in the comments. If you have any questions that we could do on our podcast later on,
anything you'd like us to rank.
To rank?
What?
Just the way you said it. Yeah. So if you did enjoy today's video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure your notifications turned on so you know when our videos go up on the channel as well. And make sure you check out the other stuff on the channel, the Fun with Figures, the 2K20 stuff, the Wrestle Crate unboxings. Yeah, just check out the other stuff on the channel when you get the time. So thank you for watching the Man
and the Wife
podcast today.